Phantasmal is a first-person randomly generated survival horror game in early access, developed and published by Eyemobi Ltd. The game will have AI improvements, procedural generated story, NPC interaction and more notes, endings and polish, so keep this in mind while watching this review. The game is heavily influenced by the Cthulhu mythos by H.P. Lovecraft, which I personally love, and the monster design and notes scattered throughout remind you of them. However, there isn't much story to judge in the current state of the game. The developers said that they will tie the game more to Cthulhu and all that good stuff. So far, all we know is that you are in Kowloon Walled City before its destruction in the early 90s. As Unity games go, this looks good. The motion blur is quite aggressive, so I highly recommend turning it off after you start the game. The monster design is interesting, and the deeper you explore, the more varied they get. The environment has been crafted by Brian Bell, lightning director of movies like The Ring 2 and Life of Pi, and it looked dark and eerie. There is currently little variety to some rooms, but it can be easily improved. The goal of the game is to go from one point of the map to an elevator, to further descend into madness. See what I did there? Descend into... The game map is randomly generated, and the best approach against the monsters is to stealth your way through by crouching and staying out of lit areas. As far as weapons go, so far I only found a handgun, a shotgun, a wooden board and a metal pipe. The guns can be found in locked cases scattered around the map, as they can be opened by finding keys that are usually hidden inside a box or a cabinet. If you cause a lot of noise, you will start like a Cthulhu-like monster. The more noise you make, more angry it will be, until it starts chasing you, and there is no way to kill him and hide from him, because he is using a no-clip cheat code. While the game is not scary, it does get really intense when you are carefully strafing near a monster, hoping it doesn't feel you. You will also die really easily, making stealth and sprinting skills you will develop really fast. Unlike most modern horror games, the game brings back the survival horror that I like. You should avoid the monsters, but if you get seen, you have at least some resources to fend them off for a while. You're also not overpowered. Melee weapons break after 10 hits, ammos are scarce, and monsters are aplenty. Unfortunately, it got a little frustrating a couple of times. Sometimes enemies would just spawn right in my face, or sometimes there were just too many of them in the way. Also, every time you die, you will spawn back at the first level. These are just some annoyances that might turn off some gamers, but if you can look past them, you will have a good time. Nothing to write home about. The sound of the monsters are generic, and the music is pretty weak. However, hearing your footsteps and the monsters immerse you further into the game's dark corridors. Lots of good stuff here. There are currently 5 levels and 10 achievements, as well as the constantly different environments. You also have to take into account that this will be updating in the next few months. It will take you currently around 2 to 3 hours to complete. Overall, Phantasmal has a great start as far as early access games go. The developers always answer even the most little of problems or questions. The atmosphere is good, the gameplay is solid. If you like this type of games, you should buy it.